Now let's look at the third scenario, finding base. So we'll start with a familiar question, but let's say the question is changed. It's now 500 is 50% of what? So what are we looking for? Well, remember, base follows the word of, and the question is 500 is 50% of what? So base is what we're trying to find. That's the missing variable. 50% is the rate because it's the number with a percent sign, and 500 must be the percentage. So we're going to plug the numbers into the formula. So the formula is 500 equals 50% times base. Now we got to get base on one side all by itself. So if we divide both sides by 50%, we get 500 divided by 50% equals base. So to calculate this, on your calculator, enter 500 divided by 50 and then hit the percent key, and you should get 1,000. And that makes sense. 500 is 50% of what? Well, 500 is 50% of 1,000. Let's try another one. 250 is 25% of what number? We're trying to find base because it's the missing number following of. 25% is the rate because it's the number with a percent sign. Therefore, 250 must be the percentage by the process of elimination. So we'll plug the numbers into the familiar formula of percentage equals rate times base. We get 250 equals 25% times base. Now we have to get base on one side by itself, so divide both sides by 25%. And you get 250 divided by 25% equals base. So on your calculator, enter 250 divided by 25 and then hit your percent key, and you should get 1,000. Let's try another one. 8.3 is 10% of what number? So again, we're trying to find the base because it's the missing number following of. 10% is the rate because it's got the percent sign. Therefore, 8.3 must be percentage. And as usual, we will plug that into our formula. So we get 8.3 equals 10% times base. Divide both sides by 10% to get base on one side by itself. And the formula becomes 8.3 divided by 10% equals base. And on your calculator, enter 8.3 divided by 10 and then hit the percent key, and you should get 83. Let's try this one. 754.6 is 77% of what number? So again, we're trying to find base because it's the missing number following of. 77% is the rate because it's the number with a percent sign. Therefore, 754.6 must be the percentage. And we're just going to follow the same steps as before. Plug it into the formula. We get 754.6 divided by 77% times base. Divide both sides by 77%, and the formula becomes 754.6 divided by 77%. On your calculator, enter 754.6 divided by 77. Hit your percent key, and you should get $980. Let's try this. 250 is 25% of what number? Again, we're trying to find the base. 125% is the rate. 250 is a percentage. Plug it into the familiar formula. Divide both sides by 125%. And you get 250 divided by 125% equals base. And the answer is 200. Now you can always double check your answer. So to double check this answer, we would enter 200 times 125%, and we get 250. So to summarize, there's a couple options you have for solving the problems. What I showed you was using the formula percentage equals rate times base, and then using simple algebra to alter the formula to find the missing variable. But some students just like to memorize the three versions of the formula. They are rate equals percentage divided by base equals percentage divided by rate, or the familiar form of the formula, percentage equals rate times base. So use whichever method you like. I prefer the first method, using the formula percentage equals rate times base, and then using algebra to alter the formula.